Yes, sir. Please proceed.
So before going to see how to increase your citations or what are the things you are going to do while you're publishing a paper, you should think why I should publish. What is the purpose of publishing a paper or any content in a magazine or any newsletter, anything? Why I should publish first of all. So just I'll say something, then you can go to this publications and citations and all. So if I publish a paper or an article in a magazine, it improves my skill first of all. So when you're going on publishing something either in a journal or any magazines, it improves your writing skill. It helps in your knowledge upgradation. So there you can when you're going to read something and you're writing to journals or magazines, you're going to upgrade your knowledge. So it keeps you updated, up to date. What are the developments in this will be updated. It teaches about literature survey, what all going around you in your field. So you can learn more things about what happening around you. So it teaches me about literature survey. Apart from that, it makes me happy when you publish an article or a paper in a journal. If you find that it is published, really you will be very happy. So it helps the society with my research. So whenever you find new things, if you publish it, so many people will read it. So it helps our society a lot. You'll get appreciation for your work, either from your management or if a head of the department or a principal. You'll get an appreciation when you publish anything. Apart from that, you'll get some publicity. So I'm sitting here. If you know me in Guntur, really the publicity from me. So whenever you do something, publish something, sure, you'll get some publicity to your work. You'll get some, your value will be added. So whenever you publish, adding on your publications, countings, really your value will be increased. So it keeps you alive as a researcher. So going on doing some research works and publishing it, it keeps you alive as a research. About all these things, it motivates others to research. While seeing your research work, others will read your work and it motivates others to continue your work. Above all these things, you can earn money from these publications. How I can earn money? So you can write some articles to magazines, for example. You can write some edited books or books. You'll get some royalty per year. So whenever you write some, edit a book or write some books, you'll get some royalty. When you're writing articles to magazines or some other newsletters, sure you'll get some benefit as money. So apart from that, you can earn money when you publish something, either it may be a paper or an article. Whether I need any special talent to publish articles? No. Some little interest. If you have some interest, sure you can achieve. You can publish more papers, you can write more things. See this child, it itself tries to walk. Nobody is asking the child to how to walk, all these things. So with its own interest, it is trying to walk. So if you have some little interest in the field of writing or in your area, sure, you can publish more papers or articles. See, this is some examples what I done from the beginning. This is in 1990, I think, 1990. I started writing some little articles to newspapers. This is some Tamil newspapers. This was written in 90, before 30 years, I think so. So I started like this. See, this is in a magazine. I write some articles in magazines also. This is around 92, I think so. So from 90 onwards, I start writing something. So I got some interest in writing some articles. So this is a magazine, especially for computers. I have written for answers, question and answers for more than 12 years in this magazine. So this motivated to me to write some papers to journals also. So I earned something, some little money from these publications. Now we can go, why this citation is important? Why I need citations for my publications? Suppose if I'm not publishing anything, I think I'm in mute. I'm not doing anything because I'm a professor. I'm working as a professor in a college. If I'm not publishing anything, I think it's mute. I'm in mute. I'm not doing anything. So my work is to read, learn something and to give it to the students. So if I'm not publishing anything, really, I think I'm in a mute. So I have published, but if it is not cited, if it is not read by others, then it's a waste. So not being cited is a lot like talking without anybody actually listening. So if my work is not cited by others, it is nothing. Nobody is there. Just I'm taking class or I am speaking in a meeting without any audience. So as I am a professor or in a teaching field, if I'm not publishing anything, really, I think I'm in a mute. Even though if my work is not cited, then it is like that I'm teaching a class without students, or I'm giving a meet time, attending a meeting, or talking in a meeting without any audience. So publishing is important, as well as citations for the publications is more important. So why I should care if my work is cited by scholars? Why I should care? Why I should care? Why my work should be cited? Why I should care? Well, why would you publish if nobody cites your work? If you are not caring why it is not cited, then why you should care why your paper should be cited by others? So publishing is main important. Apart from that, citations of your work is also more than important of publishing your work. So if only others cite, you should care. If your work is cited, you should care that your work is benefited to others. Okay. Now you see, okay. See here, if your work is cited by many people, it helps you for your confirmation. Suppose if your job is not confirmed, sure your number of citations, more citations will help for your confirmation of your work. It will help for promotion as well as your yearly performance appraisal and to improve and generally your case for academic impact. So when your work is cited by many people, it may help you for your confirmation, your promotion, your yearly performance appraisal, and it will also improve your academic impact. So if your work is cited by many people, you'll get an attention that your citations, you can learn who is building on your work. If your work is cited by others, you may come to know that somebody is reading your work, they are following your work. Overall, following your work can be identified by your citations in other papers. So depending upon your level of engagement, you can get some collaborators. If your work, published work is good and it is new to the field, sure, others will contact you and you can make some collaborations with them. So you can also, it be exciting to see how others are using your research. By there's a number of citations by others, you can also see how your work is used by others. So it may give you some new ideas in your research work. Finally, it is an ego boost. If your number of citations for your publication is increased, sure, you will get some more confidence in your research. So citations is a nice ego boost for your publications or for your research work. So what are the topmost indices in which your work will be cited more? So the first one is Web of Science. So first, the indices, the journals indexing services, first the Web of Science comes first, for example. So it is maintained by Clarivate Analytics. So Web of Science is highly selective index and provides a platform for researchers to access content in the area of sciences, social sciences, arts, and humanities. The next comes is Scopus. So most of us try to publish the papers in Scopus Index journals. So it is maintained by Elsevier. So it maintains citation and abstract database meticulously selects content and has an international listing of interdisciplinary scientific information from medicine to computer science, social sciences, and humanities. Next comes this AI Compendex. So it is an engineering database. So most of the indexing done by AI Compendex is mainly on engineering papers. So it carefully selects engineering research articles and publications for indexing. The next comes as GOAJ, a directory of open access journals. It is a web directory that strictly indexes open access publications only. So online journal publications will be mostly it uses indexes only online publications. The other one is Bio1. It mainly indexes only the biological, ecological, and environmental science publications or journals. The next comes is ASM Digital Library. It mainly indexes journals, conference proceedings, technical magazines, newsletters, and books. So ASM Digital Library is one of the leading databases covering computing and information science. The other one is ERIC. It is well-known online databases of education, literature, and resources. Mainly indexes only the papers which is published in education-related journals and resources. The next one is PubMed. It covers books and journals like in the area of biomedical research. Next one is Inspect. It is another collaborative analytics maintained index. So Inspect's coverage includes journals, proceedings, books, and more sources in the areas of physics, engineering, computing, and information technology. The 10th one is PsycInfo. It mainly indexes only the psychological papers in the field of psychology and is produced by the American Psychological Association. So these are the main 10 indices which are mostly used to increase your citations. Next, how to increase the chance your work is cited. So I can improve my chances that my academic work is cited more in the form of 4 C's. What are the 4 C's? The first one is competence. The second one is collaboration. The third one is care. And the fourth one is communication. So what is competence? So when your work is a quality one, sure, you'll get more number of citations. So delivering high quality work will give you more citations. So although there are always exceptions, in general, a work without more quality will attract only few citations, and high quality, meaningful work is more likely to be cited. So the first C is you should deliver a high quality work in your publications. So the second is C is collaborate. So you should make some collaboration with other authors in publications as well as in your research works. So collaboration often leads to better quality research, especially if you ensure your collaborators have complementary skills in areas where you are not that strong. So you can get some collaborators in other fields so that you can combine your field with the other field. You can make a combined paper, then you can publish it. Sure, you'll get some more citations. Also, having a co-author, you can add some co-authors so that the co-author can add your name in their papers. So your work will be cited in co-authors papers as well as in your paper, you can add your co-authors work also. 1 second, sir. 1 second, please. Huh?
Hello, sir.
Sorry for the distance. Once again.
No problem.
Okay. So you can have some co-authors in your publication so that your work may be cited in your co-authors paper also. And you can also cite your co-authors work in your paper. It will give some more citations. So apart from that, your co-authors network will also read your paper where your co-author's name is included in your work, will attract more citations for your work. So you can also have some collaborative with the networks of co-authors in future, either in the form of publications or in the work in the way of projects, etc. So the third C is care. So you should take more care before sending your paper to any journals for publications. So this more generally makes our profession a nicer place to be. Since we are in a teaching profession, we should take more care in each and every step we are doing in our research work. So care for your own academic reputation and never engage in questionable practices. Whenever you're sending any work to any journals, there should not be any questionable practices in your work. So getting more comments on your paper, plagiarism or any other thing should not be there. Since our work is a professional work, you should take more care before you're writing a paper and sending to a journal. So nobody wants to use and cite the work of someone they don't respect. In other way, you can also say, if anybody, you're not respecting anybody, sure, nobody will consider your work to cite in their paper. So we should take more care in our surroundings. So you don't think nobody will are noticing you. So academy is a small world and academics gossip just as much as the next person. So whenever you have any friends, new friends, respect them. Think. So when you're speaking to them, give more preference. Don't say any negative words, all these things. So if you're respecting others, your work will be respected by others and they will be used for citations or for referring in their work. Most importantly, care for others too. You should also take care for others. Be polite and considerate and say thank you when someone helps you. So when you're getting some help for your work, research work, say some thanks simply. So it will give more impact on you, and later on they will continue your work in there as a continuation in their work also, or they will introduce your research work and they will cite your paper in their papers. So be polite and considerate and say thank you whenever you get some help from others. So keep the promises you make at conferences. When you're going to conferences, if you're giving any promises there in the participants or other professors in the conferences, keep the promise. So when you say I'm sending this my paper to you, or we can collaborate and we can publish all these things together. So you keep the promise and do that what you say in the conference. So alert collaborators and academic friends to useful information. So whenever you get some information in the research area, you send to your collaborators or your academic friends and congratulate them on their achievements. Whenever your surrounding people or professors achieve something, you congratulate their achievements. So if you are a good academic, sure, your work will be cited by others in future or soon. The fourth C is communicate. So if I'm writing an article or I've written a paper, if it is published in a good journal only, then it will reach others. Then only your work will be cited by others. If you're writing something and you're not publishing a good journal, sure, it will be kept inside. Nobody will read it, or no citations will be done for your work. So this is probably the most important aspect of getting cited. See the picture, simply sitting in a place, you're asking something, sure, you will not get anything. So you should go to the places, what is your problem? It should reach others. Then work is able to read by others easily, then they can read your work and they can cite your work. So simply publishing or writing something and keep it in your table, sure nobody will read it or cite it, or they will continue your work in the research work. So there are so many ways in which you can make your work available to communicate. So the first one is you create a personal website. So you create a personal website in your name if possible. You put all your achievements there, your publications there, your details about your research work, what is your research work later in future. So you can keep all these things up to date in your personal website. Sure, it is possible for many of the professors or academicians to see your personal website. They can see what you have done till date or what is your future plan. So all this makes some collaboration with you or to cite your work in the papers. So the second one is make your research papers freely available to online. So try to publish your papers maximum in online journals. So whenever your work is in online, or even though if you are not publishing your work in online, you make it online open access. You can use some university repository, RXV, Academy, or ResearchGate, etc. There are a lot of web pages or websites are there to add your work freely online. So I'll just show you one by one later. So your work or your publication should be made available online so that it can easily searched by people. They can read it and they can find some information from your paper. If it is suitable in their research work, sure they will add your work, your idea in their work and cite your papers in their papers. The third one is you try to have a Google Scholar citation profile. I'll show you how to add this Google Scholar. So you create a Google Scholar login. You can add your papers, what you have published. Sure, it will increase your citations. So if you have a Google Scholar page, sure it with your list of publications, sure it will help for others to read your paper and they cite your paper in the research. The fourth one is you attend conferences, present your work and talk to people. So try to go to conferences, interact with other professors, other people who are in your research area. You interact with them, you get idea from them, you tell your idea to them, you talk to people, you'll get some ideas, also some relationships. So in future, you can have some collaboration work, either in the form of publication or in the form of research work. So when you're going to conferences, take some printout of your works you have done. You can share with the participants your copies of printouts of your publications. Sure, one day they'll read it and they'll contact you so that you can have some combined research work or your work can be cited in the research work. So if you're not possible to go to conferences, so I'm having some family or financial reasons, I'm not able to conferences. So how to make your work to reach others? So the alternative one is you can use some social media. So if your work is placed in some some media, that is social media, sure, it will be able to reach others so they can read your work and they can have some contact with you for their other research works. So you can consider Twitter to get relevant information in your field and to tweet about any research findings or publications. So tweeting about my white papers and blog posts typically increases the readership at least 5 or 10-fold, sometimes much more. So Twitter is the best place to interact with others about your research work, your findings, and your publications. Apart from this, you can create some blog posts. So you can create some blog posts. You can put your research work in the blog posts. Okay. So you can get some more larger audience to read your blog post. So they can read your work, what you've done in your blog post on a particular certain topic. This can be a really good way to distribute it more widely. So you can create some blog posts and you can place your research work. So these are all some websites which can be used for writing some blog posts. You can use a Wix, WordPress, LinkedIn, Weebly, Medium, Ghost, Blogger, Tumblr, Zoomla, Zimdo. These are all some examples of blog posts where you can post your research, ideas, or works. The next one is, even though it's an old-fashioned way, you can communicate by email. So if you have email addresses of your friends or colleagues or some professors or colleges, you can sometimes email what you have done. Suppose you have published a paper newly. You can send the abstract to them. You can say them, I have published a work. If you are interested, I can send you a paper. You can have some collaboration. So send some small 4 or 5 lines email about your work you have done. You can send the abstract to them. So if your work is related to them, sure they will contact you and it will help you in any way. So don't write mass mails while distributing your work. So if you're writing some mass mails, sure, you don't get more effect. So apart from this, you can think why I should take why I should publicity and name recognition be needed. Why I should get some published. I am publishing something. Why I should get it should be cited. Why I should get publicity and name recognition is needed. So if you think like that, I can only say wholeheartedly, it is your choice. So only when your work is cited or read by others, your work is a good work. Okay. If your work is not fetched or helpful to others, there's no need of writing a good paper or good work. Your good work will be kept inside yourself. So only if your work is reached to others easily, then your work will be cited with others and it will be used by others. So most academicians have a pressured existence and the volume of publication is rising even more rapidly. So you should send your work to others. Nobody will ask you or nobody will search your work and read. So only when it reaches easily to them, they will read your work and they will use your work when they are in need. Since all they feel, our field is now pressured one. So in this pressure, nobody will take more care to search your paper and read your paper by taking more risk. So you make your work to reach others easily so that it can be read by others and it can be used in their research work. So apart from this, some more tips to increase your citation count. So write high quality papers about sound research that is useful. That is useful, novel, and interesting. So you write some quality papers which will be useful to others. It should be novel and it should be interesting. So if your work is interesting, sure, more number of professors or academicians can read your work and you'll get some good collaboration with other professors. So papers worth citing describe troubling problems, outline innovation methods, report groundbreaking results, and share new ideas. So write in a citable way. So your work should be written in a citable way. So it's meaning that it should be clear, it should be organized, and it should be without any grammatical errors. Okay. So if your work is clear, organized, and without any grammatical errors, sure it will make others to read it easily. They can understand it easily. So it makes others to read interesting and they can use your work in their research work. So remember that your abstract should be particularly clear. The abstract which you are using in your paper should be more clear and concise to ensure accurate indexing and immediate reader comprehension. So when a particular person reads your abstract, they should be able to identify what work you have done in this research work so that they can simply, without going throughout your paper, they will be easily citing your work in their paper. So your abstract should be clear and concise. So research and write about topics that are currently of serious concern. So you write papers on the current topics of serious concern. So if a current situation, some problems are in the current field, You take that problem, you solve it, and publish it as a work. Sure, you'll get more number of citations compared to other publications. So establish a relationship between your research and fundamental questions in your field. So although the biggest questions usually cannot be addressed. So within your paper should be maybe 3 or 4 pages or 5 pages. You cannot address all the entire, or you cannot explain all the things in your paper. So try to address at least to answer the fundamental questions in your paper. So what you have done in your research work, so at least try to make so that the readers can understand the fundamental things in your research work. So you can cite your other previous publications in your current paper. So it should be related to your current work. If the previous works are related to your current work, try to add your previous publications in your current publications. Cite your peers and include as many references in your paper as possible. So try to cite your friends' publications in your paper in the references, so that your friends can also add your work in the paper. So it goes on make like this. You can increase more number of citations. So avoid questions in your titles. So when you are giving title to a paper, don't use any questions, but you can use colons. When your paper uses colons, it is true that number of citations will be increasing. So don't use the title like questions, which are some questions like. Okay. So strange though it may seem, papers with titles that have an interrogative format are cited less often than paper with declarative titles, whereas papers that use colons in the titles are cited more often. Next one is write a review article covering the research literature in your area of expertise. So try to write some review articles. When compared to research article, review article attracts more number of citations because more number of papers are reviewed. So when an author reads your paper, maximum before entering into this research, they will read the review article only. So when you write a review article, you will get more citations when compared to your research paper. So try to publish your work in a peer-reviewed journals, which will be widely read by the academicians. So when your journal is in top tier journals, sure you'll get more impacts. So try to publish your work in a peer-reviewed journal. Use the exact same name for all your scholarly publications. When you are giving your name, author name in your paper, try to give the same name. Suppose if you are using some initials, you should give the same names in all the papers with your publications. If your name changes, sure, the citations of one paper can be, of any paper can be avoided. So when you're giving names in your publications, try to give the same to all the papers which you're publishing. So use the keywords and phrases effectively in each paper. So when you're giving the titles, keywords, writing abstracts, author names, author affiliations, DOI number, ORCID information, and other things, you give some exact, so that it may be a common words which can be used while searching in Google. So use keywords and phrases effectively in each paper. So you can see some papers will be having DOI number. So the most of them can search your paper by using the DOI number also. Suppose if they give a keyword, particular keyword which is common, it can show your paper also if your keyword is good. So try to use some good keywords and phrases which will be effectively attract others by any work or any type of using keywords. While they're searching a particular keyword, they can get your paper also online, so that they can read your paper, get attracted, and they can have some collaboration with you, which helps you to cite your paper. So ensure that the bibliographical and other information about your papers on journal websites and in the scholarly databases commonly used in your field is thorough and accurate. So when you cite yourselves, be careful not to introduce errors that may prevent or confuse tracking and indexing. The previously point also, same point. So when you're citing your work, so you can see the references. Some references may be with the initial, for example, your name. In some references, your name will be with the initial. In some papers, without initial. Suppose in some papers, your initial may be expanded with the full name, for example. So try to avoid when you are giving a reference for any paper, it should be common. So avoid errors while you're giving references of papers, either it may be yours or your friends. So which will give some confused tracking and indexing. So verify your paper with any of the standard plagiarism checker before sending to any journal. Apart from this, at last, publish less, but don't compromise with quality. Even though you're publishing low number of papers, the paper should be of more quality. If your work is quality one, sure, you'll get some more number of citations. So next you can see what is the journal impact factor. So most of you have come across this journal impact factor. What is this journal impact factor? So this is used to sort or rank journals by their relative importance. Suppose you're ranking some engineering journals or computer science journals or some other journals. So the JF journal impact factor number is given to rank journals with their relative importance. So the underlying assumption behind impact factors is that journals with high impact factor publish articles that are cited more often than journals with lower IF. So a journal with a high impact factor, journal impact factor, will get some more number of citations. This is the assumption. So the impact factor or journal impact factor of an academic journal is a scientometric index calculated by Clarivative. So this JAF is given by Clarivative, which is a division of Thomson Reuters. So the JAFs are calculated on the basis of the journals listed in the multidisciplinary citation database Web of Science. So this journal impact factor is given only for the publications which are indexed in Web of Science from the Science Citation Index and Social Science Citation Index. So JIF is given to the journals which are indexed in Web of Science based on their relative importance. So it is JIF impact factor is calculated for 2 years. It considers the publications of 2 years and it gives the journal impact factor. So the journal impact factor is the average number of times articles from the journals published in the past 2 years have been cited in the JCR year. Suppose if I want to calculate the journal impact factor of a particular year, for example, 2008. So the publications of previous 2 years, that is 2006 and 2007 will be added. And it will be divided by the total number of citations which are done in 2008 for the papers which are published in 2007 and 2006. So total number of papers published in the previous 2 years divided by total number of citations which are cited for these papers in the current year, which you want to find this journal impact factor. So this is how they are calculating the journal impact factor for a particular journal. This is mainly given for a particular journal. Based on the impact factor of a particular journal, if you publish a paper in a particular journal with high impact factor, sure you'll get some more citations. Next, what is the CITE score? It is same as this journal impact factor, but the CITE score is given by Elsevier. The journal impact factor is given by this Clarivative, but the CITE score is calculated by Elsevier. This uses the same format, but this is calculated for the journals which are indexed in Scopus. So it takes 3 preceding years. The journal impact factor takes 2 preceding years, which is calculated by Clarivative. CITE score is calculated by Scopus, that is Elsevier, which considers previous 3 years. So it takes the previous 3-year public. Suppose if I want to find the site score for 2015 of a particular journal, it takes the previous 3 years publications total, a total it, divide by the total number of citations for these 3 years publications in the current year. The site score 2015 value is equal to total number A is nothing, total number of publications for the previous 3 years divided by the documents published in the year 2015. This will give the site score for a particular paper. So till 2020, they are using this 3 years window, but 2021 onwards, they are going to use 4 years. Instead of 3 years, they will take the papers of 4 years. So if you want to see the site factor of a particular journal, you can go to Scopus webpage. You can type the particular journal name. You will get the details here. See here, in the left side, it will show number of citations. There is 1.8 equal to something. Site score tracker for 2020. See, for current year, the previous, it shows how they are calculating. So for a particular journal, 1.8 is the site factor for site score for 2020. For 2021 till September, it is 2.2. This is how they are calculating the site factor for a particular journal. So what is this SkyMega journal rank? So this SkyMega journal rank is mainly gives the prestige of the journal. It mainly shows the prestige of a journal. What is this prestige? So it is a measure of the scientific influence of scholarly journals that accounts both the number of citations received by a journal and the importance of prestige of the journals where the citations come from. It also considers the citations from the prestige journals. So the SkyMega journal rank is nothing. It shows the prestige of a journal. So it considers the number of citations also, as well as the citations from which journal it comes from. Based on that, it gives a SJR rank for a particular journal. So a journal's SJR is a numeric value indicating the average number of weighted citations received during a selected year per document published in the journal during the previous 3 years. It also takes the 3 years calculation. So higher SJR values are meant to indicate greater journal prestige. See here, you heard about this Q1 journal, Q2 journal, Q3 journals. So this is based on the SkyMega journal rank. If the journal comes under Q1 means if the prestige, that is the size SkyMega journal rank of a journal lies between 1 to 25, then that particular journal lies in Q1. If the SkyMega journal rank value lies between 26 and 50, it comes under Q2. If it lies between 51 and 75, it comes under Q3, and it lies between 76 to 100, then the journal comes under this Q4. So this Q1, Q2, Q3, and Q4 is based on SkyMega journal rank, which shows the prestige of a journal. So if you want to know the SkyMega journal rank of a particular journal, you can go to the website skymegajr.com. In the search field, you can type the journal name and you click the search button. You will get what is the rank of a SkyMega journal rank of a particular journal. So what is the major difference between site score and journal impact factor? You have seen what is the site score as well as journal impact factor. So what is the major difference between these two? So site score calculation is based on Scopus data. As already I told, site score is calculated based on the Scopus indexed journals. Impact factor is based on Web of Science data. Site score uses 3-year window. Impact factor adopts a 2-year window. Elsevier launched a new journal metric site score. The site score was launched by Elsevier and the impact factor was launched by Clarivate Analytics. So the two companies already have competing bibliographical citation databases, Scopus as well as Web of Science. Now, what is this Google Scholar metrics? Most of you heard about this H-index. What is this H-index? So it was calculated by a person, psychist called George Hertz. The first letter of H is used for H-index. What is H-index? So if you have some publications, 5 articles, specifically 17, 9, 6, 3, and 2, your H index value is 3. It means that 3 papers, that is largest number H such that at least H articles in that publication were cited at least H10. Suppose my H index value is 10. My 10 papers has been indexed 10 times. If my H index value is 13, my 13 papers has been indexed 13 times. So H index is nothing. It's the largest number H such that at least H articles in that publication were cited at least H times. What is H score? So H score of a publication is a set of top cited H articles from the publication. These are the articles that the H index is based on. For example, the publication above has a H score with 3 articles, those cited by 17, 19, and 6. So H score is nothing. The top cited articles. It may be, for example, if your H index value is 10, the citations above this 10 can be assigned as, or can be considered as this H score value of your name, for example. So those, that is, for example, the publication above has the H score. So the publications which are above the H index value can be taken as your H score value. What is H median? So this is, what is median? So the H median of a publication is the median of that citation counts in its H score. So you can have, what is the H score in the previous one? 17, 19, and 6. So it takes the median value of this 3. So 9 is the median value. So your H median in this case is 9. Finally, for example, what is the H5 index, H5 core, and H5 median means? Respectively, the H index, H score, and H median of only those of its articles that were published in the last 5 complete calendars. Suppose if you want to calculate a H index, H5 index means you should consider only the last 5 years publications. You see whatever is the H index value or H score value or H median value. It gives your H5 index. So for a particular number of years, if you want to calculate the H index value or H score or H median, in that case, you can say H5 or H6 or H7. So if you are calculating for 7 years, then it may be H7 index, for example. So this is about this Google Scholar metrics. Now, how to find your H index in Google Scholar? So I want to know what is my H index in Google Scholar. So you open your Google screen. In the screen, you can see a box. You type your name and click the search icon. Suppose I am typing my name. I have typed my name and clicking the search icon. So I can see a list of things here. At the topmost, I can see A.V. Senthilkumar Google Scholar. So click the first link. Now we can see like this. This shows my citations, for example. So it shows what are my papers published and how many times it is cited and which year it is published. The right side shows a graph for each year, how many citations from my publications, what is my H index value, and what is my I10 index. Now, how to find my H index in Scopus, for example. Now I want to know my H index value of Scopus. So you open the Scopus web page, click the author search form. At the topmost, you can see author search as well as sources. You click the author search, you'll get a screen. In that, you type the name, first name and last name, author's last name and first name, and your affiliation. So while typing it, you enter initials, make sure that the format them correctly and click search button. You type it correctly, and so you type your first name, last name, as well as affiliation correctly and click the search button. Now you can see here my name and number of documents, my H index value, and the affiliation. Okay. So if I want to see all my publications, I can click the Senthilkumar, my name. So it shows, see, if I click my name, it shows the total number of publications, the left side, how many citations are there, what is my H index value. So it shows a graph per each year, how many papers of my papers are Scopus index, how many citations per year. It shows all the details. So you're troubleshooting. Sometimes you may be working in another institution before 5 years. Now you are working in some institution. So your institution varies. Suppose your previous institutions, you have published some papers which are indexed in Scopus. You are not able, it is not added in your name now. So how to make this type of troubleshootings and bring the previous Scopus indexed papers in your current count? That is troubleshooting. What if my publications are split into multiple author entries and Scopus? Sometimes your name may be taken differently while indexing. Suppose in some of my Scopus indexing papers, I can see my name differently. In some papers will be Senthil Kumar AV, and some papers it will be indexed as AV Kumar. In some cases it will be Senthil Kumar AV, like this. So I want to make all this together and bring as a single one in my name. So how to troubleshoot this? So if you have or had multiple affiliations, or one of the publishers did not put your middle initial on that paper, then you will end up with a multiple entries in the author results page. There's no immediate action you can take to combine the results, even though there is no immediate action. And if you want to get a new calculated H-index, but you can send a request to merge authors. You can make a request to the Scopus people or Web of Science people. You can ask them to merge these things. If your work are related to you only, then they will automatically merge your work. So simply select the author entries that should be combined and follow the instructions of the Scopus author feedback wizard. Now I'll show you how to do this. The good thing is that the updated author entries will then be available to anyone displaying the up-to-date H-index. For this, you click the sign button on the. So if you are not having a login for Scopus, you create a login for you. After creating a login, click the sign in button at the right hand top side corner of Scopus preview page. See you. Now, when you click the sign in button, you can get a screen like this. You type your email ID, you click the continue button. Click the button at the right hand side of the. After logging in, you'll get a screen like this. At the rightmost corner, you can see an orange. It gives a symbol of my name, suppose SA. Okay. So click the button at the right hand side top most corners of Scopus preview page. So this is a Scopus preview page. Click on the right hand button with an orange color. So you'll get a screen like this. Click See Privacy Setting button. See below you'll see a blue color button. See Privacy Setting button. So click that. So these are all things should be done after logging into Scopus page. After this, you'll get a screen like this. So you can see a button here, Privacy Center. So you'll have a small box with the orange color SA words. You can see the dashboard as well as Privacy Center. You click the Privacy Center in the small box which occurs below SA. You click Privacy Center. You'll get a screen like this. You click Scopus author details. So Scopus author details. You can see below this profile. The second one is Scopus author details. You click that. And then click request changes to the profile for your Scopus author ID. See, after clicking this Scopus author details, you'll get a screen. In that, you can click request changes to the profile for your Scopus author's ID. Now you'll get a screen like this. In the author feedback wizard window, this is the author feedback wizard window. Type the record details and click search button. Now suppose your affiliation is different or your name occurs differently, so that your Scopus indexing goes to different places. I want to merge this. So what I should do is first you write your name which is correct. For example, Senthil Kumar, for example. I type this first name AV, for example. I think my name, in some of the papers, my name may be Senthil as last name and AV Kumar as first name. So you type what are the things you have identified or you have checked or you have seen like this. You type the different names. You can type the affiliation here. Okay. So in the previous case, after typing Senthil Kumar and AV in the first name, you will get some affiliation. You can type, suppose your affiliation is different. For example, 5 years before you have worked in some other affiliation, you type the affiliation there also. So you are going to type two different names, two different affiliations, for example. You type it, then click the search button. So after this, typing the search button, you can see a list of publications with both these names. Okay, you click which are all comes under your original name. What are the other publications with the second name? You select it. Then it will ask continue. You go on with the procedure. After the end, it will say, it will give a message that after a few days we will contact you. So after some days, the Scopus publishers will contact you saying that your papers which you are given are verified and it is merged. If your paper does not belong to your work, or if the work is not related to your work, they will say the works which you have mentioned are incorrect. So we are not able to merge with your original name. So after this, clicking the search, you will have some menus, you go through it. Some 2 or 3 stages will be there. After that, you'll get a message, soon we will reply you, for example. So you'll get a email after some days saying that your works which you have mentioned are merged together. Then you can check with the Scopus website, what is your Scopus count. If your work which you have mentioned in the second name is incorrect, they'll give a reply that the work which you are asking to merge is not related to your work. So we are not able to merge. Or otherwise, if you are not able to do this, you can send an email to Scopus saying that my work, these are the works which are my work. So you merge these works with my original name. Sure, you'll get a response and they'll give a procedure how to do this. Now, how to find H-index in Web of Science? Now, if I want to see my H-index value in Web of Science, what I should do? So when you consider Web of Science, mainly it is, you should pay some registration cost in Web of Science. As like Scopus, Web of Science needs some registration, institutional registration. I'm sorry. So the screen first. So Web of Science is not free, but your institution might have a subscription. So when your institution has some subscription, you can see your Web of Science H-index. If your institution is not registered or subscribed, sure you cannot see the H-index value in Web of Science. So institution is registered. That is, it is subscribed to Web of Science. You can click your name and you can get your H-index value. Otherwise, the other option is you should use this Publons. So you can still save a list of Web of Science index publications, track your citations, and get a Web of Science ID by creating a free profile in Publons. So this is the URL to enter into Publons. So when you go to this link, you can see a screen like this. You can sign to continue with Publons. You can give an email address, password, and click sign in. Now we'll get a page like this. So if I want to track my citations, you click the button, track my citations. Track my citations. So you can get a screen like this. So the first I can see this, track my citations. You click it. So it will show the screen like this. You can see what are the work publications are indexed in Web of Science. Then how many citations on which year it is published. All these details will be there. So if you want to see a H-index value, you can see this value under this publication metrics. Once again, this will be in the first screen. And I'll track my citations. Okay, David, sorry. Once again. So this is your number of citations for each paper, and here it shows all the papers which are indexed in Web of Science and the year as well as how many citations for your paper. So if you want to see your H-index value of Web of Science, there will be an icon called Publication Metrics. If you click that, you can see the details of your H-index value of Web of Science. See here, this is my H-index value in Web of Science. It shows the number of publications, then the number of citations, H-index value, all these things. So all the details will be under this Publication Metrics. Now, if some of your papers, which you think is not indexed in Web of Science, is not showing in your dashboard, in the case, as you can import your papers which are indexed in Web of Science to your publication history page. So when you click this import publications in the screen of Web of Science, there will be 4 options. So you can use import from Web of Science, import from ArcGIS, search and import by DOE or title, import by file upload by using RIS, CSV, or BibTeX. By using these 4 options, the papers which are not in your publication history page or that is which are indexed in Web of Science can be brought to your H-index or Publons publications page. So you can add the missed indexed papers in Web of Science to your publication history page by using these 4 options. Now suppose you think that some of your papers are missing in your Google Scholar citations. So how to include the missing papers in Google Scholar citations? So you sign in to your Google Scholar profile. You create a new login, you sign it, click on my profile icon in the Google Scholar citation web page. So in the Google Scholar screen, after logging in, you click my profile. So in the my profile, you have a plus button on the left side. You click the plus button, there will be 3 options to add the missing papers to your Google Scholar citations. The first one is add article groups. So in the add article groups, when you click this add article groups, you can scale a screen like this. So it will show the articles under groups. So suppose you can see a group of articles in a particular group is your work. Then you select that one and click the right symbol. On the topmost, you can see a blue color box. There you will have a click right symbol. So you click that, automatically that group of publications will be added in your Google Scholar citations. The second option is add articles. So in this case, when you click this add articles, see this one, it will show the list of articles individually. You can go on searching this. If you find an article which belongs to you, select it and click the click button at under the blue color on the topmost corner. Now that particular paper, so you can select single by single papers in this case. The third option is add article manually. So if your paper is missing either in the group or in the add articles, then you can add your work manually. So when you click the third option, you can see a screen like this. So it shows for journal, conferences paper, or chapter, or all the things. So you can you should type your title, authors, all the details, and click the click button at the topmost corner in the blue color. Now this particular details will be added in your Google Scholar citations. So these are the 3 methods to add your work in Google Scholar citations. So apart from this, how to share your work in some type of public websites. So you can use LinkedIn. This is one way to share your work in websites, LinkedIn website. You can add in Facebook. You can add in Twitter. Suppose you can add in some websites that you contribute to. Suppose you are having some known websites, you can add your details to the particular websites. Suppose if you have your institution repository, if your institution has some repository, some short Ganga, something like that, you can add your details in that institution repository. So you can use this link academia.edu. In this, you can add your work. There's a research web. In that, you can add your research work, slide share, script, site factor. These are all some examples of websites where you can add your journal details or publication details so that you can attract more citations to your publications. Apart from this, if you have your own website, you can put it in your website, your institution's website, Facebook groups. There's a website called Quora. This gives more effect. So you can add your work in this Quora.com. Okay. So these are all the